Glenn, nice to meet you here at Barcelona. And could you tell us what are you presenting here today on your stand?
Great, welcome to the Alcatel-Lucent booth. We're focusing on wireless in 3 different dimensions. So number 1 is our LTE overlay offer. So we are very focused on delivering the best performing LTE networks in the world. So we have a big focus on LTE overlays for LTE dedicated performance. Second area is new applications for LTE. So we're highlighting our broadcast demonstration, which is showcasing live real work that we've done with Verizon Wireless in big American football venues like the Super Bowl very recently, as well as our voice over LTE demonstration highlighting next generation of voice for LTE. And then third, we're highlighting our commitment to the cloud, which is a big corporate move for us. It's highlighting our virtual EPC, virtual IMS, and from a wireless perspective, most importantly, our virtual RAN.
You describe just proposal for carriers or something from that is already installing and commercial using.
So our business strategy is really to lead the market with the operators that are leading the world in LTE. So this has allowed us to introduce very advanced features like LTE Advanced for carrier aggregation, as well as broadcast and voice over LTE. We have those that we are putting into commercial service both now and then through 2014. So this is really allowing us to have a very innovative approach to the market so we can leverage many of the big builds with LTE customers that are leaders in their respective markets, and then we can take that really across the world as other markets come online for LTE.
So, could I ask you about your strategic plan, the shift in progress?
So the shift plan is very exciting for our company, and what we've done is we've become much more focused. For wireless, what this means is we're focused on ultra broadband, which is really decisively funneling and focusing our investments on LTE and on small cells, because we believe that these newer generation of technologies and products are going to be what's important to meet the needs of customers as the world goes towards more and more data usage at a very aggressive rate moving forward. So we're really trying to differentiate ourselves in the wireless marketplace by building the best ultra broadband networks. We think of ourselves as LTE and small cells without compromise.
Okay. So let me flip-flop to the third question about future infrastructure market and industry. How you could prepare for them, how you could help to carriers to prepare.
Okay, great question. You know, the future is now for us in many ways, whereas some of our leading customers are deploying LTE Advanced, starting with carrier aggregation, and that activity is really starting now. What is probably the most exciting trend that's coming out at Mobile World Congress is around the cloud. So we made a significant announcement yesterday with a partnership with Intel, where we'll be leveraging their highly advanced silicon and then incorporating that into our highly advanced cloud offer so that we'll be able to lead the industry in the next generation of wireless, which will be virtual RAN.
So 5G, is cloud strategy or something like that? You mean you are cloud boy in Alcatel? Could you tell about cloud future for carriers and for infrastructure?
Yeah, so we see the future is now with LTE Advanced. Cloud will become a reality sooner than most people think, and 5G is going to be the next extension from that. So we are highlighting that as part of our Bell Labs research demonstration, which is on the show floor. We think that 5G is going to be important. 5G is probably in 2020. So there's an awful lot of work to do between then and now to build these very high-performing LTE networks.
So, Glenn, could you tell us about existing market trends? So, two markets, mobile markets and infrastructure market.
So the mobile market is really evolving for LTE so that a few years ago you would see customers, service providers were trying to build out LTE to preserve their spectrum that they bought from a lot of governments around the world, but they weren't really trying to achieve a business purpose.
Okay.
Now what we see is that mobile operators are making their business plans to use LTE as a competitive weapon. They're trying to introduce new services. They're trying to take share from competition. They're trying to reestablish pricing leverage with customers. So there's a real big drive for service providers to build LTE in a decisive way, so that they can offer great coverage, great services, and from a network infrastructure perspective, that is favoring operators who are favoring infrastructure vendors that are taking a bolder approach towards building LTE overlay networks.
Okay. What about infrastructure market?
Well, that was what I was just tying in, is that the infrastructure market is showing really strong growth fueled by LTE and small cell.
Okay.
And it's our belief that the vendors that are most successful in that market are the ones that are tailoring their roadmap to address the data explosion, and that means having world-class roadmaps on LTE and best-in-class portfolio for small cells.
Okay. My last question. What about technology to offload traffic from network? Wi-Fi or small cells? What do you prefer, and what carrier to move on?
So if you talk to anybody in the industry, they'll basically tell you that somewhere between 50 and 100 times the data capacity that we have today is going to be required over the next few years. This actually requires three things. It requires the most spectrally efficient air interface, which is LTE. So that is necessary but not sufficient, because that'll get you a gain of 3 to 5x what we are today. Secondly, you need to get more cells on the ground, which is small cell. That, combined with LTE, can get you pretty close. We also believe that Wi-Fi is going to be instrumental to that. So it's not either of them. It's both small cell and Wi-Fi in addition to LTE. All three are going to be required to support great performing wireless data networks of the future.